Since this meeting is happening online, so I would like to mention the ground rules for the online meeting. Number one, kindly mute yourself if you are not speaking. Number two, kindly turn off your video if you are stepping out of the meeting. The general rule for all Toastmasters Club meeting is, as Toastmasters, we do not talk about religion, sex, and politics. So kindly refrain your discussion from discussing these topics when you are speaking or called upon to speak. As everybody in their life has a mission to achieve, likewise, Toastmasters Club also have a mission. The mission of our Toastmasters Club is to provide mutually supportive and positive learning environment in which every member has the opportunity to develop communication and leadership skills, which in turn fosters self-confidence and personal growth. With this, I announce the meeting as open, but there are two buts now. First, let me call upon the inspiration of our club, the X Factor of Karachi Toastmasters Club, the captain who is steering the ship, following the legacy which this club past legends left behind, the president of Karachi Toastmasters Club, DTM Talha bin Hamid. Over to you, sir.
That was me. I thought you were introducing someone else. Anyhow, thank you so much, our Sergeant at Arms. And let me just mention that everyone who is involved with any Toastmasters Club is doing their part towards the continuation of the legends left behind. I welcome all of you to our combined meeting, and this is the second combined meeting with My Speak Toastmasters Club. For the guests who don't know, Toastmasters is an organization headquartered in Colorado, USA, and its primary aim is to enhance the communication and leadership skills of its members around the world. And towards that end, it operates under a uniform set of rules and procedures and under a unified curriculum called Pathways. There are more than 17,000 Toastmasters clubs around the world. Toastmasters is present in most of the countries around the world, and we have more than 250,000 members around the world. In addition to enhancing the communication and leadership skills, I have personally learned that Toastmasters actually ends up making you a better human being because before making you a better speaker or even a better evaluator, it makes you listen, it makes you write, it makes you question, it makes you challenge your preconceived notions about everything from what should be in a speech to how long should a speech be and what works and what doesn't. It is only when you come under the scrutiny of so many people watching you with the sole intent of advising you how you can improve that you experience the kind of improvement that Toastmaster grants you. So my message to everyone watching today is simple. You won't really find out what Toastmasters is about unless you dive headfirst and you're willing to invest your time and effort in Toastmasters. And even if you do that for a few months, I can guarantee you one thing, you will not regret it. With that, I hand over the charge back to Master of Ceremonies.
So, would you like me to ascend the stage? Thank you very much. Shall I say today? Thank you very much. Let me start with the protocol of the district director here at the X Factor. Distinguished Toastmaster Talha bin Hamid, thank you very much for having us. I'm calling all the way from South Africa, from the African continent. And that's the beauty of being a Toastmaster in this day and age, where we are able to meet in the manner that we are meeting. Of course, I am the president of My Speak. I took over office in July this year. And at My Speak, we have certain titles. Mine is the navigator. But I'd like to please allow me to ask the man who envisioned who My Speak turned out to be today. And I would like the keeper of the vision, Bram Memon, to please join me and ascend the lectern, the virtual stage. And you can explain to us your vision that got us to where we are today. I will talk about where we are today. Thank you. Over to you, Bram.
Well, thank you, Madam President, distinguished Toastmaster Talha bin Hamid, fellow Toastmasters. Simply speaking, we set our vision to be setting world-class trend in online meetings last year when the club was in trouble. And so this is what got us out of the trouble. I was a club coach at the time, and then I became a member, and now this is my home club. And out of that, we have members from 13 different countries that you can see on the screen over here, including the latest edition, Australia. And you wouldn't believe it, but in Australia currently, I believe it is almost midnight. And this person is here on the screen, Vicky Wilson. Back to you, Madam President, the navigator of My Speak.
Thank you very much, keeper of the vision, Bram Memon. I'd like to thank distinguished Toastmaster Talha bin Hamid and your team for inviting us to come indeed to this second meeting today. While the keeper of the vision mentioned the global presence, I would also like to mention the fact that we are intergenerational in terms of membership. Our oldest member being over 80 years old, and our youngest member just starting university. Now, and we occupy right through the continuum according to our ages. And that shows you the kind of engagement that we have at My Speak. We are here to learn from each other as we come from different cultures, different countries, and today we are in Pakistan. We look forward to a wonderful meeting. Back to you, Sergeant at Arms or Mr. Toastmaster of the Day.
Thank you so much, Madam Navigator. Now that we have heard from the presidents of both the clubs, I would now like to call upon stage Toastmaster of the Day. Toastmaster of the Day is somebody who has made a mark with her incredible work. She is leading this meeting as her HPL project. She took it upon her to make sure that this combined meeting achieves everything that the goal was set. Please help me welcome Toastmaster Anjum. Over to you, Madam Toastmaster of the Day.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster. Good evening, Toastmasters from Pakistan and India, and good morning, Toastmasters from Canada and South Africa. This morning, I woke up to a bright fall. Despite the sweltering heat, I felt fresh, agile, and enthusiastic about the day, because today is the 26th of September, our day, KTC and MI Speak combined. So fellow Toastmasters and guests, whether you are itching to the beat of the heat or racing to embrace the sunshine or a warm blanket, this meeting will definitely get you in the mood for enjoying whatever life throws at you. So to begin with this enjoyment, mangoes and the maple syrup is what we are here to enjoy at the moment. Who presented this theme? What was the inspiration behind it? These are a few questions that are yet to be answered. So with a virtual round of applause, let's welcome a dedicated Toastmaster and a great man at heart, a gentleman to his fingertips, whose honesty and integrity speaks for the outstanding attributes. A gentle leader, Toastmaster Anjum. from Karachi Toastmasters Club. Over to you, Toastmaster Anjum.
Toastmaster Anjum, you're on mute. Could you please unmute yourself?
Thank you, Toastmaster Anam, for that wonderful introduction. Let me tell you the story behind today's theme. Am I unmuted right now?
Yes, Toastmaster Anjum, we can hear you properly.
You're perfectly audible.
Okay, fine. Thank you. Well, let me tell you the story behind today's theme. It was around mid-August that I received an announcement from Toastmaster Imran Rana, who is Vice President Karachi Toastmasters, and he said there will be a joint meeting, and that for the theme, there will be a memento given for whoever introduces the theme. Now, being a banker myself, I'm more concerned about dotting the I's and crossing the T's than anything creative. I really believe that I don't have a creative bone in my body. But I'm always up for a challenge. And just because Toastmaster Imran had messaged me, I thought I had to say something. And somewhat whimsically, I came up with the theme of mangoes and maple syrup. Now comes the hard part. He said, explain this theme. Well, obviously there was some thought going into coming up with a theme, and I elaborated on that. So, Toastmaster of the Day, fellow Toastmasters and presiding officers, it's an honor for me to introduce this theme, mangoes and maple syrup. Why mangoes and maple syrup? Well, we all know that Canada is known for its maple trees, and maple syrup. And I found out that 85% of the world's maple syrup comes from Canada. As for mangoes, mangoes originated in a region which is now in northeastern India, Bangladesh, and Myanmar. And today, mangoes are grown in every continent of the world, except perhaps Europe. But when it comes to cultivation of mangoes and the culture of eating mangoes, I think the subcontinent is the best place for this culture, for enjoying mangoes, for growing mangoes, and the development that has gone into mangoes. But why a food theme? Well, to be a Toastmaster, being a Toastmaster, you really don't need a theme to communicate with each other. Being a Toastmaster is enough, whichever club, country, or region you belong to. But then food is a great conversational point. It helps us explore new avenues, explore new friends. So it's a topic that I think they all speak about. And something in my closing remarks, what I'd like to say is that we have quite a few members in Karachi Toastmasters who like to don the chef's hat. And if you look up in the internet, there are quite a few fusion recipes combining mangoes and maple syrup. So with that, I hand over to our Toastmaster of the Day, Toastmaster Anam. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Anjum. It was really refreshing listening to you at that notion. So from here, I'm going to proceed, and I'm going to first present a basic framework of how our meeting is going to proceed. Our meeting is basically would be divided into 4 sections. The first one would be for the speakers to present their projects. In the second part, we'll be having table topic session. In the third one, we'll be having evaluations. That would mean the general evaluation, the evaluations of the speeches, the evaluations of the table topics, that would be spoken by random people or by guests, and the reports from the role holders, all the facilitators. And the fourth important part, that is the encouraging part, would be the awards announcement. So without further ado, I would like to move on to the role players, a group of people who help you a lot, who help us all in speaking well and in presenting ourselves well in front of our audience. So to begin with, we have the grammarian and the word master, T.M. Gautami, who joined Toastmaster in the month of August to improve her public speaking. She loves mangoes and has 3 mango trees in her garden. And she loves maple syrup so much that her friend bring it for her from USA as a gift. T.M. Gautami, over to you.
Thank you so much, TM Anu. Madam Toastmasters, fellow Toastmasters, and our esteemed guests. As the grammarian, it is my responsibility to pay attention to all the speakers, listening carefully as their language uses. I'll take note of any misuses of the English language, as well as outstanding words that you guys are going to use. I have already come across really amazing words, and we are not even half an hour into the meeting. As a grammarian, I shall also introduce the word of the day. The word of the day today is relish. I'm going to just add a bit of Toastmaster Nazim's sentences now. You know, the theme of food was perfect when it came to my Speak and Karachi Toastmasters, because we all love relishing the food we eat and the relationships that we have. The meaning of this word relish is great enjoyment. A particular usage for this word would be, Peter relished the pancakes with lots of maple syrup and freshly cut mangoes for his Sunday breakfast. Once the meeting is over and I'm called upon to give an evaluation, I would be presenting a report about the usage of amazing words, the word of the day, and all the grammatical wonders that we are going to experience today. Over to you, Toastmaster of the day, Yaman.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Gautami. It was really relishing listening to you present your introductions at the moment. Okay, the next coming in is the timer, DTM Hannah Schmidt. DTM Hannah Schmidt is a Toastmaster since 11 years and belongs to clubs in Sydney, Singapore, Windhoek, and MI Speak. She can still remember the days when she can only eat mangoes in the bar. Now, with the addition of maple syrup, she said, it sounded absolutely delicious. Over to you, Hannah Schmidt. Toastmaster Hannah Schmidt.
Thank you very much, Madam Toastmaster of the Day. My time my job as a timer would be to time all the speeches that they are well in their time limits. Otherwise, you can get disqualified. So for the speakers, I see they are all 5 to 7 minutes. I give the time at 5 minutes, 6 minutes, 7 minutes, and then they've got 30 seconds to wrap up. For the evaluate or table topics, it will be 1 minute, 1.5 minutes, 2 minutes, and again 30 seconds to wrap up. And for the evaluators, 2 minutes, 2.5 minutes, 3 minutes, and again 30 seconds to wrap up. Over to you, Madam Toastmaster.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Hannah. Next role player is the counter. Toastmaster Imran Rana, the VP Education of Karachi Toastmasters Club, and a hard-working Toastmaster ready to help anyone. Most of us attribute our grooming to him. According to him, When mangoes and maple syrup combine together, they make a yellow mellow life. Toastmaster Imran Rana, over to you.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster of the Day, Toastmaster Anam Qadri, fellow Toastmasters and guests. The purpose of the R counter is to note words and sounds that are used as crutch or pause filler by anyone who speaks. During the meeting, I will listen for overused words including and, well, but, so, and you know. I will also note when speakers repeats a word or phrase. I will also listen for filler sounds, including ahs, ums, and ers. At the end of the meeting, I will report the number of times that each speaker used these expressions. Over to you, Toastmaster of the Day.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Imran Rana. Next, we have the vote counter. DTM Talha needs no introduction. Dedication is his main attribute. A humble man to his word. According to him, both mango and maple syrup are absolute delicacies. They are also bad for your health. So now it's up to you if you want to be healthy and miserable or die healthy. Over to you, DTM Talha bin Hamid.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster of the Day. I will sure to save this meeting's recording and play back at you whenever needed. So I'm the vote counter for today, and during 5 different times in this meeting, you will be asked to vote. The first vote will be for best prepared speaker. The second will be best table topic speaker. The third will be best evaluator. The fourth will be best meeting facilitator. And the fifth will be best big role player. You will be asked to vote through a Zoom poll. And in case that doesn't work, I'll be floating a Google form. There are a few, as a vote counter, of course, I cannot vote. I can only vote if there's a tie between 2 candidates. But those of you who are co-hosts, please take care. And you won't be able to vote through the Zoom poll, so you can convey your vote directly to me through a personal message on the Zoom. So thank you so much, and back to you, Toastmaster of the Day.
Thank you so much, DTM Talha bin Hamid. The next role player is the listener. TM Urusa Kamal is the current division director of Division B. The theme gives her a summery and fresh vibe, the imagery of leaves, trees, a horizon, and the shining sun. A billowing breeze with the citrusy sweet smell permeating the senses with happiness and fixation. Since she hadn't have the mangoes and maple syrup right now, so it's just her imagination at the moment. Over to you, Toastmaster Urusa Kamal.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster of the Day. So as the listener, I will be listening to interesting phrases and interesting words that the Toastmasters of today will be using, and I'll be making lists. And in the end, I will be testing the whole audience on how good they are as listeners. So please watch out throughout the whole meeting who is saying what, and in the end, you all will be tested. Over to you, Toastmaster.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Rusa. I've heard a lot of people speaking really fluently and really well, but we all admit that it's very hard to make others people laugh. It's an art that most of us doesn't know, and it is an art that comes through nature. TM Hiba Reis knows this art well. Let's find out. Over to you, Toastmaster Hiba Reis, as the joke master.
Thank you, Toastmaster of the evening. Okay, fellow Toastmasters and guests, are monsters good at maths? monsters good at maths? Not unless you count Dracula.
Toastmaster Hiba?
Sorry?
We can hear a voice from behind you.
Okay, okay, I'm so sorry.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Okay, I'll repeat my joke once more. Are monsters good at maths? Are monsters good at maths? Not unless you count Dracula. And the last one. What is black? What is black? Sits in a tree and is very dangerous. What is black? Sits in a tree and is very dangerous. A raven with a magical gun. A raven with a magical gun. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Hiba. After these facilitators, we have an education mentor in the house. DTM Karen Rees, a member of Toastmaster for 19 years, member of both London City Hall Toastmaster in Canada and MI Speak Toastmaster Club. First time she saw a mango, Karen was over 45 years old. Karen thought it was a peach, so she just washed it and bit into it. What a mess. Now she will really have to change if it is covered in maple syrup. Her topic for today is live and learn. Toastmaster Karen Rees, over to you.
Thank you, Toastmaster of the Day, for your warm welcome and greetings to all. Yes, that's exactly what happened to me the first time I bit into a mango. Somebody thought I should know what a mango is because she was from the Bahamas, but I had never seen it, eaten it, or I watched anybody else eat it. I was at work at my computer. So when I washed it and bit all over my clothes, all over my desk, the juice was all over the computer. What a mess. What am I going to do? I have a question for you. Have you ever done something and made a mess? Just made a mess of things? Have you ever done something and embarrassed yourself? What are you going to do? Well, I have met a person while in Toastmasters that has inspired me to look at the world a different way. When we think of what's going on now in the world and the things that have gone on in your past, really, sure, I was at work, but I can clean that off. That was not the end of the world. But many things happen that really we feel like we want to give up and it's the end of the world. I met a gentleman in Toastmasters and he has always said to me, live and learn when something happens. He actually, when I say it, I go like this, live and learn. He was born 3 pounds. When he was 11 years old, he lived in Central America and he almost drowned. He's lucky to be alive. Since I've known him, he has rolled over in a car with his wife on a highway 3 times. But he said he saw something that pulled him through. He has something in him, a positive attitude. He feels like that helps to pull him through. He is a prostate cancer survivor. And also he has had colon cancer. We thought it was gone. He had to go back and have an operation. And now he's doing very well. And I mention him because he's a past international director of Toastmasters. What does he do? He's had things that really are bad in his life. But when you say, how are you, Harold? He says, sensational. Well, how could that be? Because he decided a long time ago that your response to that question, people would use that to determine your attitude, to determine how they're going to approach you. He suggested to all of us, think of a word, not bad. Well, I've been better, but in a few more minutes, I'm going to be great. I'm working on it. There's so many things to tell yourself because You're not only making yourself feel better, but you're not pulling someone else down. Why do you want to do that? So if you think about it, when people are trying to make themselves happy, there are many ways to change. And if I ask you now, if there was no obstacles, what time's no obstacle? There was money's no obstacle. Nothing. Health is no obstacle. What would you do? What are some of the things you do to make yourself happy? Well, some people say go shopping, watch sports, play in sports. There's so many things you can do. But I've noticed when I've asked people, all those things they list, they can't seem to do it in 10 minutes or 15 minutes. They don't have anything. And sometimes that's all the time you have. When somebody asks you a question, how are you? You just have 10 seconds maybe. What are you going to answer? And you can do many things. You can sing, you can tell them they're wonderful, and maybe have mangoes and maple syrup. That doesn't take long, but do something to make yourself happy, because it isn't live and let live, it's live, let live, and learn. Back to the Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you so much, DTM Karen. With this, we move on to our first segment of the meeting. I would like to call on Toastmaster Mariam Arif to present her speech. Toastmaster Mariam Arif, a passionate Toastmaster and a keen learner who love mangoes but don't know what maple syrup tastes like. It only reminds her of maple syrup disease that she studied about in medical school. She would be evaluated by Toastmaster Robin Stone. Toastmaster Robin Stone, over to you.
Thank you, Madam Toastmaster. Well, I'm relishing hearing this speech by Mariam. She's going to do a project on mentoring, and the purpose of this speech is for her to share some aspect of her experience as a Toastmaster mentor. Madam Toastmaster, over to you.
Okay. I cannot pin the timer.
Yeah, it's okay, Toastmaster Mariam. The moment the timer shows green card, I shall spotlight the timer for you, along with you.
Okay, thank you. Just a second. So am I audible and visible?
Yes, you are audible and visible. We will just wait for Toastmaster of the Day to announce your name and the title of your speech, and then you can start.
Okay.
All right, Toastmaster Mariam Arif, mentorship. Mentorship, Toastmaster Mariam Arif.
Back in grade 9, my English teacher once told me about an upcoming inter-school declamation competition. Now, declamation was a new word for me at that time. It was something that I'd never heard of, something that I'd never done before, but I was still interested in participating, and so I thought of giving it a shot. My teacher gave me the topic for the declamation, which was attitude versus aptitude, and told me to write a speech on it. So I did. The next day, I went up to her, showed her my speech, and after giving it a read, she said, Mariam, I think you should go to Sir Akbar now. You will find him in the staff room on the second floor of this building. I'll inform him that you are coming, and he will help you in terms of the delivery of the speech. So as instructed, I went up to Sir Akbar and said, Sir, my speech's right here. Can you please give it a read and tell me how it is? To which he said, no, I won't be reading your speech. The podium's right there. Go and deliver it yourself. And so, being a student, I did exactly what I was told. I delivered my speech. And once I was done doing it, this is what he had to say. He said, Maria, I'll be completely honest with you. The content's great, fabulous. You have written a very well-organized, relevant, and amazing speech. It has the right examples. But sorry to say, it sounded more of a weather report than a declamation. I mean, your style, it's very kind, very gentle, something that's pleasing and soothing to the ears, nice to listen to, but unfortunately, it's just that this isn't how declamations are. And he then drew a graph for me and said, you see the peaks and the plateaus here? This is what I want to see in your declamation, the highs and the lows. So when you're talking about a strong point, you raise your voice, you speed up, you take it to the high pitch, but when you're talking about something that's not very important, not a substantial contribution to your case, you lower your voice, you slow it down, and you take it to the low pitch. And this is how you bring emotions and vocal variety into your speech, which is, by the way, the essence of any declamation. And yes, don't let this podium restrict you. Use these hands, show us those gestures, be confident, own the stage, own your words, because this is how you win over the audience and the judges. And after giving me this highly motivating speech, he said, Mariam, I have a class now, so I need to get going, but I'll be back in about 30 minutes. Till then, practice and try delivering your speech the way I have told you to. And he left. There I was, busy practicing my speech and trying to adopt the new declamation style that I was just introduced to. 30 minutes later, he returned as promised, and I was practicing my speech, and I was so engrossed in the whole thing that I didn't even realize that he was back. Upon seeing this is what he said. He said, Mariam, at first I was thinking that 30 minutes were a bit too much, and I must have kept you waiting. But seeing you practice here with such dedication has made me truly happy, and I'm very excited to hear the improved version of your declamation now. So fellow Toastmasters and guests, once again, I delivered my declamation and it was an improved version because I was trying to adopt everything that he had taught me so far. And once again, this is what his remarks were once I was done delivering the speech. This is what he said. He said, Mariam, I must say it's superb now, it's great. But now, enough of these do's and don'ts from my side. I am going to go to the auditorium to take the auditions for grade 8 students for their upcoming interbranch debate competition, and I suggest that you accompany me there. Because there'll be so many amateur speakers there. By looking at them, by observing them, you will know what exactly not to do on the stage. What looks bad there, what gives a bad impression over there, and how can you avoid making all those mistakes? And fellow Toastmasters and guests, he was actually absolutely right. That day, when I went to those auditions, there was so much that I learned through those speakers. For example, there was this one speaker who I noticed. He was either looking at the ceiling or the floor, or he was just maintaining an eye contact with one of the judges. And that is when I realized that if you do not maintain, that how important it is to maintain an eye contact with not just all of the judges, but also with the whole audience. Because if you don't do so, you might miss out on the opportunity of keeping them engaged with your content. Then there was another speaker who ended up forgetting his speech on the stage. What was the reason? Because it wasn't his speech. It was something that he had copied from the internet. And that is when I realized that you can only own the stage and own your words if they really are your words. If it isn't yours, if it isn't straight from your heart, you won't have that charm or that spark, and you will end up getting confused or nervous, and all of this will ultimately impact your confidence on the stage. So fellow Toastmasters and guests, these two were few of the many examples and lessons that I learned from those speakers that day. And for this, I'm obviously extremely thankful to my mentor, Sir Akbar, whose unique teaching style, dedication, and selfless efforts made me fall in love with declamations. And now, whenever I hear about any declamation competition, I'm usually the first one to register for it. But with that said, I'd also like to mention that I've been very lucky. Lucky since he wasn't the only mentor that I came across in my public speaking journey. And the credit for this obviously goes to the Toastmasters family, where I met so many mentors. For example, Toastmaster Imran Rana, who has always encouraged me to participate in all sorts of competition and not just participate, but he's also helped me organize and host many of them. DTN Talha, who's always ready to answer the silliest of my questions. And so, fellow Toastmasters and guests, I believe that the best way for me to thank my mentors is by doing the same for someone else. Like everything that they have offered me, all the help and support that they have given me throughout my journey, I should be doing the same for my mentees. Because at the end of the day, this is what mentorship is all about, isn't it? Over to the Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Mariam. Our next speaker is Toastmaster Yaskadeva Bayari. Toastmaster Yaskadeva Bayari is an engineer by study and nature, a teacher by profession and passion. Being a Toastmaster for just over a year and belongs to MI Speak and Hoodie Toastmaster Club. Being from a place which exports mangoes internationally, he loves them from his childhood. When he comes to maple syrup, he has only seen them in movies and TV shows. And from the love they show, he is waiting for its bite. He would be evaluated by Toastmaster Asghar Ramzan. Toastmaster Asghar, over to you.
Thank you, Toastmaster of the day. I couldn't add about the speaker what you said, except that Yaska Deva Bihari is going to present a speech from Pathway Presentation Mastery Level 2, Project 1. That is the communication style. The title of the speech is Breaking the Cycle. And in the speech, the speaker is supposed to learn about the different communication style and identify his primary styles. We expect him to share the impact of his style on others today. Over to you, Toastmaster Yaska Deva Bihari.
All right, Toastmaster Yaska Deva Bayari, Breaking the Cycle. Breaking the Cycle, Toastmaster Yaska Deva Bayari.
To err is human, but to not take a chance to correct that error is definitely not human. Greetings, fellow Toastmasters and guests across the world. Today, I'm going to share how I realized that I used effective communication in breaking the cycle of detest in my life through this project. When I filled the questionnaire of what is your communication style, I realized that I am a supportive style of communicator. And then I'm initiating, and the least marks were given to analytical and direct. When I started to go through the descriptions of each style of communication, I came across a lot of memories through my past. In my first year of my engineering, as I was going through all the classes, in one particular class, I saw that my teacher made a mistake in writing a formula. I stood up and said, "Sir, you made a mistake. Please do correct it. Not realizing what a big mistake I have done. All the class was looking at me with awe. And the professor's face turned tomato red and came to me and stood in front of me and scolded me for 15 continuous minutes. I couldn't do anything, but I stopped attending his classes. It happened throughout the year that I skipped many classes. The moment I raise something and professor scolds me, done. That class is not existing anymore. Fast forward 5 years, I was standing in front of 50 students, delivering the wisdom that is there with me to them. As I was delivering, one student rose his hand and stood up and said, "Sir, you made a mistake on the board. Please correct it." My face turned tomato red and I scolded him to ensure that he will never even dare to speak up. Slowly I realized that students' attendance and attention in my class started to decline. I took a step back and reflected and realized that, wow, these students are taking my place and I am taking my professor's place. And I'm continuing this cycle of detest from me to my students. Thinking of what to do, I remembered another professor in my third year of my engineering, where I still used to sleep and doze off in his class, but this professor made an extra step to ensure that I don't sleep. He figured out that I need help in being awake. So whenever he was writing on the board, he would say, "Yaska, get up." And I thought, oh my God, does he have ice on his back? I will never know. But he supported me throughout the semester and I went on to get the highest marks in my entire 5 years of my study. I realized I have to implement the same. So whenever a student asks a doubt or points a mistake, I would take a step back and explain it to him. If I am correct, how I am correct, and if I am wrong, and explain him, ensure that I will never repeat this mistake. What I realized through this memory is that when I am speaking directly, I am making hatred and detest, like in the case of the first professor. Whereas when I am supportive and understanding and communicating, I can become one of the favorite teachers of my students. With this thought, in my life, I started to use supportive style of communication. As you know, life always throws you curveballs. And the curveball came as my boss. Whenever I explain him, "Sir, I have done this, I'm trying to do this, this is my idea," he would say, "Yaska, come to the point." And I would say, "I'm coming to the point." But then I used to fail to make him understand the hard work my team and I have put together. So I realized I need to develop my analytical and direct style of communication. And I'm asking every one of your help for me to develop it. Yesterday, I got to know that our member, Linda Mary, is a direct communicator. So Linda, my eyes are on you. And I know there are many more members who can teach me this communication. At the end, fellow Toastmasters and guests, miscommunication is the key for the start of this cycle of detest. As I said earlier, to err is human, but to not correct that error is definitely not human. Take a step back and reflect in your life that you might have knowingly or unknowingly started this cycle in your life. Understand what is this miscommunication that has happened and understand the different communication styles and try to match it to ensure that your communication is proper. With this, definitely you can break the cycle as I try to break it. Even more, you can start the cycle of joy and happiness. Back to you, Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Yaskadeva Bayali. Our next speaker is Toastmaster Ali Ashar Anjum, a versatile member of Karachi Toastmasters Club. From technical management to being a dangerously impressive speaker, he knows the art to maintain his poise. He's a Toastmaster since 2020 and currently serving as the treasurer of Karachi Toastmasters Club. He would be evaluated by Toastmaster Roxane Hussain. Over to you, Toastmaster Roxane Hussain.
Thank you, Madam Toastmaster of the Day. I am relishing the opportunity to do this evaluation. Toastmaster Anjum will be speaking from Motivational Strategies Path. It is a level 3 project, Understanding Emotional Intelligence. The purpose of this project is for the member to cultivate an understanding of how his emotions impact relationships. It is also designed to help the member identify how others' emotions impact his emotional state. The purpose of this speech is for Toastmaster Anjum to share some aspect of his experience journaling emotions or being aware of emotions when interacting with others. The timing for this speech is 5 to 7 minutes. Madam Toastmaster.
I believe I am audible and visible.
Yes, Toastmaster Ali, just wait for me to announce your title and you may start, all right? Thank you. Toastmaster Ali Ashar Anjum, The Beautiful Scars. The Beautiful Scars, Toastmaster Ali Ashar Anjum.
Roses, jasmines, and daffodils. All veins when you go away up hills. When you come closer, my heart thrilled, and it's ill when you are away. Oh, my lady, come nearer to me, so my heart can refill. Toastmasters, this project, Understanding the Emotional Intelligence, it has one practice to do to noting down the emotions of a week. But I don't know, when I start noting my emotions, the first thing I wrote was this stanza. Why? Because this stanza I wrote for the lady who is closest to my heart. I still remember 2 years back, I met her in a training. Because usually I stumble, so no one wanted to be paired with me, but she was the one who just paired with me. We have an assignment to do. And in with assignment, we have to give services to the hospital and just write a report and then present it in front of everyone. Those 2 weeks were just amazing. I was released. And I was in a heaven. But a day came when we are going to present the report in front of all. And she just pushed me, Ashar, go and deliver the speech. I did it pathetically. And at that moment, I just realized that I was nothing. Because since my childhood, I was used to of being mocked in front of everyone, but I was disappointed because this time I let down her. The girl was in the just 2 weeks, we are so close to each other, and what I did was just pathetic. Usually it's quoted that men do not cry, but they do under the floor. I really do it. And that was the worst night of my life. When I was just thinking that why I am in this world. What should I do now? I am good for nothing. There was a time I was thinking to commit a suicide. But my phone rings and I received the call. That was her. She said, Ashar, where are you? I said, I am at my home. She said, just come to me at the very next moment. I said, oh, okay, but, and she just put the phone off. For the whole journey, I was nervous. I reached to her place. She grabbed my hand, pushed me into her car, and we went to the unknown beach. And throughout the whole journey, I was nervous. My head was down with the guilt, and there was a hope, and she was silent, and that silence was quite jarring to my ears. We went to the unknown coastal area, the beach. There was no one, me, her, and the melodies of waves. She grabbed my hand and we go towards the water. The water kisses our feet. Still, I was nervous. I was broken. My heart needs to be filled. And I said, sorry, I let you down. She said, Ashar, do you know what is your problem? I said, yes, I cannot speak. She said, no, your major problem is that you don't know yourself. You don't know your limitations. You have courage to speak, but you rarely have potential to do these things. People are going to mock on your efforts and will sympathize on your deficiencies. You have to control your emotions. You have to control yourself. You have to control each and everything. That was after that night, the worst night. That was the wonderful moment of my life. That was what, and at that point, I realized that, okay, now I'm just from hell to heaven. She was the dawn of my dark night. At that moment, I was thinking about to propose to her, but I was afraid that might be I lost her, so I didn't do that. The next, that was our last meeting. I usually have been communicating with her through emails. Now he has a husband and a kid, but she's happy there and I am happy here. And I realized that love is not about guaranteeing. Love itself is a reward. Over to you, Toastmaster of the Day.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Ali Ashar Anjum. Our next speech is Toastmaster Andy Mayhew. Toastmaster Andy Mayhew has been a Toastmaster for 17 years. Currently, he belongs to the MI Speak Toastmasters and GMAT. He finds the meeting theme interesting. He believes that mangoes are a much enjoyed food in India, while maple syrup is much enjoyed in Canada. There is a difference. Mangoes are considered to be a healthy food, while maple syrup is not so, as it has a lot of sugar and no healthy attributes. It is interesting that the enjoyed food in India is good for all to enjoy, while maple syrup is really a guilty pleasure. He would be evaluated by DTM Sameer Hamadori. DTM Sameer Hamadori, over to you.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Anam. Today, the Toastmaster Andy Mayhew will be giving a project from Pathways Engaging Humor, Level 3, and the basic project is about connect with storytelling. The member has to use stories in a speech or create a speech that is a story. And I look forward to the speech of Toastmaster Andy Mayhew, time 5 to 7 minutes, 14 days in September.
Toastmaster Andy Mayhew, 14 days in September. 14 days in September, Toastmaster Andy Mayhew.
Madam Toastmaster, esteemed Toastmasters, welcome guests. The day was September 5th, 2017. I had recently retired from work, but this day did not feel like it was going to be a day of leisure. I had a long to-do list of many, many items to do. And most of the items at the top of that list were things that I should have done weeks ago. But early in the morning, I had made the decision that I was going to tackle that to-do list. As I got started on my first task was early in the morning, the telephone rang with awful news, terrible news. My father had suffered a stroke. It appeared to be very, very serious. The doctor asked me to contact family members, head down to the hospital immediately. I called my brother, told him what had happened. My brother lives some distance away, out of town. He said he wasn't certain at that moment as when he would be able to arrive at the hospital, but he would do his best to come as soon as he could. I called my two sisters. They lived locally. It appeared to be not an issue for them to come to the hospital relatively soon. I started the drive to the hospital. The logical side of my brain told me this is inevitable. He's 92 years old. These things happen. But the emotional side of my brain was telling me a different story. I arrived at the hospital. It's a small community-based hospital. And I walked into the area where my father was. I saw his doctor, who I'd known for some time. I said hello to the doctor, and the doctor explained to me that he had suffered this stroke and he thought it was quite serious, but he was also researching and trying to get more information with regards to what was truly happening in order to update the family and obviously to coordinate treatment for him. I could see him working at his computer, gathering information right there in front of me as I was talking to him. I went to the waiting area. Didn't take very long, actually, for my two sisters to arrive, which was nice. It was nice to have other family with me during this time. The doctor then came, pulled the three of us aside, and explained the situation. He said he had suffered a massive stroke, very, very serious, and he did not expect for him to survive for more than 2 days. It was hard news, but it was what it was. The doctor said that my father would go into a palliative care room. Family could be with him for the remaining time. This room we went into was really beautiful, actually. It was like a living room at a nice house. It had sofas and carpeting. There was a television. There was a refrigerator and kitchen table. Could have been a bar at in this room. It was a nice, comfortable place to be in. My father did not appear all that conscious. There was some movement, and we thought maybe he was acknowledging what we would be saying, but we just weren't entirely sure. But we started to talk, myself and my sisters, about past events, about current events. We reminisced about things that went on in the past. My father sometimes would perhaps nod. We tried to engage him in conversation, obviously very difficult. He really wasn't coherent whatsoever. It was a tough time. Soon my brother came by, and I felt happy when he was there. The four of us were there, the four siblings were there, and it was nice that he joined us as well. And we started engaging in some interesting conversation. My brother reminded me of a time when my parents had allowed me to fly to visit my uncle on my own. The first time it was over 50 years ago. I was 10 years old, and it was this opportunity to get on a plane. It was exciting for me. I remember this like it was yesterday. But what I didn't realize was that my brother was really upset. He couldn't understand why I was given the privilege of flying and he wasn't. And I guess older siblings get other privileges. I'm not sure. But we continued on to discuss, reminisce, and enjoy time. The days grew on. It wasn't 2 days. It went on to 3, 4, and 5 days. And it followed a very similar routine. You get up in the morning, go to the hospital, spend the day at the hospital, go home at night. By day 8, I started wondering what's going on here. It's supposed to be 2 days, but now it's turned into a much longer time. Contacted the doctor. The doctors said there was no change in the prognosis. It was going to happen eventually. And I spoke to a social worker on site at the hospital, and the social worker told us that we were handling things rather well as a family, that some people, when they're in this situation, don't know when they want to let go. Some people want to be around family when their time to pass comes. Others want to be alone. And the social worker thought we were doing it right by having a fair bit of time with him, but also allowing him to have some private time in the evenings and at night. I took a moment after about the 9th or 10th day to start to process all that was going on. And what I came to realize was that I'd been given a tremendous gift. It was an opportunity to share time with my siblings in a unique and special way. We've always been close. We've always gotten together on many family occasions, but we also people with busy lives, and we never had a chance like we did on this occasion to spend serious time together without the responsibilities of putting on a dinner or organizing things. We were almost forced to communicate and to talk and to reminisce and do those things. And this was a wonderful gift. My father, I hope he was able to appreciate what we were going through. My mother, who had passed away many, many years ago, I hope that she too would have been able to envision what her children were doing. Both my parents had a great love of family. They would have truly enjoyed this. On day 14, several days later, I was thrilled and relished the opportunity to give the eulogy at my father's funeral. I told people what a kind and caring man he was to everyone and how he appreciated family. Fellow Toastmasters and welcome guests, please, please relish your families. It's so very important. Madam Toastmaster.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Andy Mayhew. With this, we end our speaker session. I would like to call in for the votes, but before that, may I ask the timer if there are any timing disqualifications?
Madam Toastmaster of the Day, yes. There are 2 that went over time.
All right, would you please like to mention their names?
Mariam she had 8 minutes, 3 seconds. Yaska was in time, 7 minutes, 17. Ali Ashar was in time, 7:40. No. They were all, it's only Yaska that counts. Sorry, I'll give the times again. Mariam, 8 minutes, 3 seconds. Yaska, 7 minutes, 17 seconds. Ali Ashar, 7 minutes, 43 seconds. And Andy, 7 minutes, 35 seconds.
So we are left with 1 speaker. What shall we do? Mr. President, would you please?
Let the president decide.
Precisely which president you are?
Both of them.
I think a disqualification is a disqualification.
All right.
Okay.
All right. So MI Speak President says that vote for all.
I think that this will be a learning from all the speakers. But I believe that we could say that they met their speech or objectives, but they should learn from this evaluation about the time. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much. So we'll be floating the poll here.
Yeah, just give me a second.
All right.
Actually, I had edited the poll, but okay, fair enough. Okay, I'm floating the poll, everyone. Please cast your votes. And remember, everyone, it is the generosity of My Speak's leadership that has enabled this voting. Let that be a lesson for all eternity, for all the speakers to remain within time.
Thank you so much, President MI Speak and President KTC. Shall we wait for the next few seconds or shall I continue with the next session?
I think you can continue. Most of the votes are here. So yeah.
All right. Thank you so much. We'll be moving on to our next session of table topics. Table topic session would be conducted by Toastmaster Urusa Kawal, our immediate past president and the division director of Division B. Toastmaster Urusa Kawal, the stage is yours. The virtual stage is yours.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster of the Day. So we have our theme for today, mangoes and maples. And that theme, as everyone, you all know, that theme gives me at least a summary vibe. I feel sweet, I feel yellow, I feel there is a vibe of warmth and a vibe of family around that theme. So my topic today I have divided it into 2 or 3 themes. It's around food, it's around travel, and it's around memories. So my topics are divided that way. The the minimum time for speaking is 1 minute, and the maximum time for speaking is 2 minutes 30 seconds. Toastmaster Kala, do I have permission to share my screen?
Yes, you do.
It's saying I'm disabled.
It has been enabled, Toastmaster Urusa. I just allowed the multiple sharing screen.
All right. So for the first topic, I'd like to call Toastmaster Linda. We all know her. She's a champion speaker.
Hold on one moment. I can't see the timer. I need to see the timer. I can't see the timer. Anyway, how can I? It's
okay, do I need to stop sharing?
Yeah, if you would, what is your opinion of having a pizza with an exclusive mango topping? Yeah, so you can not share. How about that? Now I can see the timer. Thank you so much. So I will begin. Thank you. I'm a vegan. I really don't eat pizza that much. But if I could eat a pizza that had mango topping, I might consider it. I grew up in South Florida, so south that it was almost Key West, just one footstep away from Key West. And right next to where I lived was a huge mangrove. That's what we called it, a mangrove. And when we were young, we would walk into that grove of mangoes and we would pick them, and we learned how to peel them when we were 5 years old. And we would just bite into that juicy mango goodness. We knew exactly when they were ripe by just pushing our thumb into them. I love everything mangoes. I just found a bottle of Captain Morgan's mango rum for my trip to the beach this Friday. I plan on drinking that bottle of mango rum every evening that I'm there. And if I can find it, I might even order a mango covered pizza to go along with it. Back to you, Madam Table Topics Master.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Linda. All right, so for our next speaker, do we have Toastmaster Rabia?
Yes, Toastmaster Rusa, I'm here.
Right, so your speech topic is your favorite maple recipe, or if it's not a maple recipe, you can go with any recipe.
Okay, thank
you
you so much.
Is relish.
Yes, thank you so much, Toastmaster Urusa. And I would like to say that Toastmaster Linda's explanation of the mangoes was a relish to hear, and I really want to eat a mango right now. About maple, a recipe with a maple syrup, I am really out of league here because I have maybe tasted maple syrup very few times. Once when I was in America to visit my sister, I think. Other than that, I haven't used it here in my home country, and but it was sweet, and I haven't really cooked with it. So I would like to share a recipe, which is a very quick recipe. And if anytime any guest comes, I just take small cubes of any vegetables and cut them and stir fry them with soya sauce and black pepper, which I freshly ground, because that's what gives the flavor to it. So that is one thing which everyone loves, because it's quick to make and very hot and yummy. And that's it from me. Thank you so much, Toastmaster.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Ravi, and I agree to freshly ground black pepper really is tasty. So for our next speaker, Toastmaster Vicky Wilson. Are you there in the crowd?
Yes, I am.
Okay. So your topic is, what season is more romantic, summer or winters? The word of the day is relish.
Madam Table Topics Master, I relish the opportunity to speak about which is more romantic, summer or winter. I live in Australia, and I have to say, for me, winter is more romantic. I'm not much of a beach girl, but I do live in the Blue Mountains where we have snow reasonably regularly. And what I find in the Blue Mountains is when that snow starts to fall, we come inside, we have the heater on, and there's nothing nicer and nothing more romantic, whether you're on your own or whether you're with the family, than to sit there in the warmth. It's the most beautiful, beautiful feeling. Some people prefer summer, but I can't see anything romantic about going to the beach and getting the sand between your toes and the sand in your cozies. So what I would like to suggest to you is maybe try a bit of romance in winter rather than summer, because it's always nicer, warmer, and more cuddly. Madam Table Topics Master.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Vicky, and I agree, winters are much better. So our today's last speaker, unfortunately, I'm told that we are running out of time, so I will be calling the last speaker, Toastmaster Sumitra.
Yes.
Are you there?
Yes, are you able to hear me?
Sorry, I cannot see you. All right.
Yeah.
So the topic is, what childhood memory about summers do you still cherish? Please share with us. Word of the day is relish.
I can still release my childhood days, especially the days when I was in my primary education. I remember my summer vacation because the reason this is the only time when I can play for the whole day. In fact, from the morning 6 a.m., I go into playground and used to play cricket with all of my childhood friends. I really enjoyed that moment. The reason no one is going to say me, hey, you need to study because it's summer vacation. So there is no time to stop, and the full day with lots of fun, with lots of playing. And no, I can say this is the only time I used to enjoy most. And not only that, in the evening, again, go for playing, and this time football. So I have a chance to play both cricket and football, and in this only time in the summer vacation. Not only this, I can say this summer vacation give me another option is like I used to see a lot of movies, especially child movies, and which really gives me a lot of valuable things to learn in my childhood. And that's the reason maybe I used to wait when the summer used to come. Maybe it is too hot as a weather, but it is so enjoyable for me as a kid, because this is the time no one is going to say me, hey, you need to go for study. And if someone is going to ask me, especially my parents, that, hey, why you are playing for the whole day, you should go and study some. I said, no, it's a summer vacation, so it's my whole time is for me only, so I will do whatever I like. But especially in today's time, I really feel that moment again. If I able to get that time, definitely I can. But the only thing is that I have the memory to release this thing, to cherish this thing, whatever I have in my childhood days. So that's why I will say, whenever you will get some time, enjoy your time, because this will be your memory for the rest of your life. So what do you say, Toastmaster, Table Topic Master?
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Sumitra. That really is a very wonderful message. We need to relish the time that we have. And with that, that would be the end of the table topic session. Timer, would you tell us if everyone qualified?
Yes, Madam Table Topics Master. All 4 speakers were in time.
So, vote counter, we can probably close the vote. Over to you, Toastmaster, today.
Thank you so much, Madam Toastmaster Urusa Kaval. While the vote counter is floating the vote, I'll be moving ahead. Shall I?
Yes, you move ahead while people can vote. No worries.
All right. Thank you so much. Evaluation is the key to a grooming personality. Our general evaluator Kiran Potila, has been a Toastmaster for 4 years and is a member of MI Speak and Mountain Toastmasters Club. Along with this, she is a Pathways mentor in MI Speak Club. She thinks that life becomes a festival when food and culture blend. Today's meeting is one such event, and she's ready to blend that taste a little by little for an endlessly delicious life. Over to you, General Evaluator, Toastmaster Kiran Potila.
Thank you, Madam Toastmaster. Greetings, fellow Toastmasters and most welcomed guests. The mangoes are ripe and the maple syrup is just sweet to the perfect grade of sweetness. We have come together to relish a divine blend of the two. When the world's top 2 clubs bring their tastes together, they should reach a higher level. Food is both an art and science. We have to work with a recipe to make sure we provide delicious food to everyone. Did we? Let's find out. The evaluation portion of the meeting is very important for just that, to bring out and create the best through feedback. Today, evaluation will be in 3 parts. The first part is where the evaluators will present their feedback to the speakers. The second part is where the role players will provide us with their reports. And the third part is where I will give an overall evaluation of the meeting. So why delay? Let's begin. Let's see how our speakers helped us relish those tastes. Evaluators and role players, remember to use the word of the day, relish, in your reports. I would like to call on our first evaluator, Toastmaster Robin Stone, to evaluate Toastmaster Mariam Arif's speech. Robin Stone, a Toastmaster for over 20 years, is a member of Protea Toastmasters in South Africa and at MI Speak. He is a great lover of new ideas, and he loves meeting people from all over the world. And yes, mangoes grow in his garden. Help me welcome evaluator Robin Stone. Toastmaster Robin Stone.
Thank you, Madam General Evaluator, and thanks for that introduction. And thank you to you as well, Mariam, for that speech. It was sweet, like I guess maple syrup must be, although I've never had maple syrup. I really, what I'm going to do is first of all look at your speech in 3 parts. I'm going to say 3 things I really liked, and then 2 things that I think we could perhaps improve on, and what I really liked to conclude. So, what did you do? And what I liked. I loved the way you created a big stage. And it's quite amazing. I don't know how I could do it in my environment, but you had space to move around. I think that was clever, and that was something that perhaps we need to see more of. You had very good use of body language, but it wasn't just moving, it was moving very intentionally. And also you created dialogue between yourself and the professor and the mentor. I thought that was brilliant. The way, and you could only have done it if you had this stage to move on. Now, what could possibly you have done better? I think one of the things that you may not be aware of, and that is you move quite fast. So, you come from here to there. Now, our technology these days is not really geared for that. So if you move fast, it looks it looks jerky. It's not a smooth movement. Just be aware of that. And also, despite the fact you're under time pressure, you actually spoke fast. And remember, on an international stage, we're all trying to get used to different ways of sounding, different accents. So breathe and slow down. But overall, I really like the way you grabbed my attention. I wanted to hear you, I enjoyed hearing you, and my life is better for having done so. Madam General Evaluator.
Thank you, Toastmaster Robin. You not only gave the speaker feedback, but you also delivered it in a way that sounded like tips for everyone. Thank you. Now I would like to call on our second evaluator, Toastmaster Ashar Ramzan, to evaluate Toastmaster Yaska Deva Bayari's speech. Ashar is a determined Toastmaster who can talk on topics of wonder, depth, and fantasy with a hint of embedded humor. And just a few words, he can bring a room to tears of smiles and laughter. Please help me welcome evaluator Ashar Ramzan. Toastmaster Ashar Ramzan.
Thank you, Journal Evaluator, for the opportunity. Toastmaster Yaska, you were supposed to share your style of communication or the impact of your style on others. Let me tell you that you have fulfilled your objective by crafting a captivating story. Especially, I like it because it somewhat touched me on personal level. You are exceptional because you identified and then transformed yourself and break that so-called cycle. It was possible when you opted the supportive and analytical style combinedly in the different phases. Secondly, what I like in your speech, the repetition of phrase in a crucial part of the story, like face turning tomato red, or stepping back and reflecting. You know, this create some sense of deja vu that in a different part of the life, we face the same situation as if we've been gone through. Thirdly, your descriptive language conjure up the images in my mind while you are telling the story. And I know someone must have told you that tell your thing in a storytelling format, because that is the only way that we allow you in our heart and minds. Now, before coming to the end of the evolution, I would say that the conversation between you and your professor would have been more dramatized for a greater effect in the speech. You could have played the part of your professor's role and used the language the way he stopped you not to speak. And I also somewhat hard for me to identify your primary style. Now you talked that your primary style is supportive, but it was somewhat difficult for me to put that style in your storytelling way to convince us that it was basically your supportive style would change the things. Anyhow, overall, I really enjoyed this captivating story with great phrases. I think what I would suggest you is to, in order to for a greater dramatized, try to be a person that you are talking or you are referring. Otherwise, it was a good speech. Thank you very much for this relatable story. Over to you, Journal Evaluator.
Thank you, Toastmaster Ashar. Evaluation is also a speech. You used vocal variety and body language that allowed me to absorb your feedback better. Giving concrete examples to the speaker will be helpful. Our third evaluator today is Toastmaster Roxanne Hossain, evaluating Toastmaster Ali Ashar Anjum's speech. Roxanne has been a Toastmaster for a year and 5 months at My Speak and Boca Raton Toastmasters in Florida. She relishes mangoes by peeling ripe mangoes with her teeth straight from the tree. Mango lassi with cardamom and cut mangoes with vinegar, salt, and pepper. She has only recently crossed the line to maple syrup. Help me welcome evaluator Roxanne Hossain. Roxanne Hossain, over to you.
Thank you, Madam General Evaluator. What a title. The beautiful scars. That already conjured up imagery. I enjoyed this speech immensely. Let me start by saying you met the objectives of the project. We got a clear picture of your acute awareness of your own emotions when interacting with others. Toastmasters, you may have noticed that Toastmaster Anjum's speech started with writing poetry for the object of his affection, but the telling of it itself sounded poetic. That was ingenious. So what you did well that allowed you to achieve that was following that same chart that Toastmaster Miriam's mentor gave her. The varying sentence lengths, the modulation of your pace and volume and tone, and that great dramatical pauses. And the language, the water kissed our feet. That was wonderful, beautiful to hear. Toastmaster Anjum also revealed himself to us, showing his vulnerability. In that moment when he said, I realized I was nothing. And men don't cry. That allowed me to connect with you on a personal level and draw me into the story, to care about you and to care about the outcome of this story. The structure itself had all the makings of a great movie, while being only one story, the start and finish of this one life-altering relationship. So here's the one aspect of your presentation that would have made this even more captivating for me, and that is your character placements. I enjoyed that role playing between you and your lady, but although you played out dialogue, for instance, the phone, you played both roles from the same position and toward the same target. So for instance, that phone call, although you did indicate who's speaking with this, you might have done something different and targeted it toward different persons. The emotions yourself, from that feeling of worthlessness to worthiness, coming out with a new realization of yourself and the ability to speak. But that close takeaway, that love is the reward. What a story. Thank you so much for letting us into a relationship which is clearly personal and emotional for you. And I relish the opportunity to hear another one from you. Back to you, Madam General Evaluator.
Thank you, Toastmaster Roxanne Hossain, for that evaluation, which was dramatic and uplifted the speaker and also gave us that key message about love. And you brought that message of the speaker back to us through your evaluation. I loved how you modeled feedback to the speaker. Thank you. I will now call on our fourth evaluator, distinguished Toastmaster Samir Hamid Dodi, to evaluate DTM Andy Mayhew's speech. DTM Dodi is a graduate engineer and entrepreneur running his own business since 2005. In 2019, he was appointed as the first district director for District 122 Territorial Council. Help me welcome evaluator DTM Dodi. DTM Dodi, all yours.
Thank you very much, Madam General Evaluator. Today, DTM Andy Mayhew gave a speech 14 days in September. He had very good greetings, and it was a captivating opening about 5th September 2017, the day he retired, and what happened then. I think that perhaps the opening could have been even more dramatic because this is storytelling after all. If he had said something like, September 5, 2017 was supposed to be an ordinary day after retirement, but it turned out to be the start of the most extraordinary 14 days of my life. Perhaps that would have made the audience say, well, what happened? What 14 days? That would have, I think, added a little more impact. On the technical issues, before I get into anything else, you had this virtual background, but it was slightly distracting because when you made your gestures, the background and your hands were blurring. So perhaps, I don't know, you may not wish to have that next time because I found it slightly distracting. You had fantastic eye contact, except for a few times when you were thinking and you closed your eyes. You spoke about the news of your father and you calling your brothers and sisters. And I like that phrase. On my logical side, I knew that he was 92, but then the emotional side, that was something that was very interesting and it really got to me. You told us about how the doctor said that your father had a massive stroke and he would probably only last for 2 days. And then your two sisters came in. And then, of course, your brother later on came in. You were taken to this room, which was very comfortable. And you gave a small incident about how your parents allowed you to travel when you were 10 years old. But then you said something like your brother resented this and you didn't realize that. Perhaps you could have used some dialogue, specific dialogue. My brother turned to me and he said, do you know I really hated you when the parents allowed you to go on your own? And you saying, no, I just didn't realize that. Was it such a big deal to you? Maybe that, because you see in storytelling, you had to have a little bit of the dialogue. And you spoke well, of course, but it would have been lovely if you had some voice modulation when, when your emotions went up about your father, about other things, and went down. So that would have also added an impact to your speech. You spoke about the fact that your father was a kind and caring man. Perhaps if you had told a very small anecdote from your childhood, which would have even brought us closer to realizing on how he was such a kind, caring person. And then in the end, when you spoke that you gave a eulogy at day 14 and relish your families, that really got to me. So congratulations, wonderful, wonderful, lovely speech. I just loved it. Over to you, madam.
Thank you, distinguished Toastmaster Dodi, for that evaluation. In this Zoom world, it is technology that brought us together, the mangoes and maple trees. And thank you for commenting on Zoom presence. It is an important element of evaluation, especially in these days. With that, we complete the first part of our evaluation segment. I will now request the technical host to launch the poll for the best evaluator. And as the poll is being launched, please take a minute to stretch and move because we have been sitting around for quite a while. We are running late in this meeting today, so I will not ask for the timer to time for 1 minute. Instead, I will continue to speak as you would. So 2 points before we begin the next segment is we are running late in this meeting. So I will request the role players and the table topics evaluator to be succinct in their reports and also to use the word of the day, which is relish. Let us see how our table topic speakers did today. I will now invite Toastmaster Sana Gaglani for table topic evaluations. Sana is a teacher by profession. She is married with 2 lovely daughters. She is a 3-month-old Toastmaster at My Speak. She says, being from a country where mango is staple for summer, don't wait for the mangoes to fall down when all others are learning to climb the tree. Help me welcome Toastmaster Sana Gaglani. Sana, over to you.
Thank you, General Evaluator Kiran Patula. It was relishing to hear all the impromptu speeches today, and I would like to congratulate everyone for thinking on their feet. One evaluation that I have done for all the speakers is that I didn't see much of the hand movements today. So next time when you're doing, even if it is a table topic, it's good to do a little of hand gestures. And most of you were sitting, so maybe you were not able to show your hand. So it's a good idea to stand up and show your hand gestures. That is one thing. I'll go to Linda Marie first. Linda, you had a catchy beginning and you captivated your audience since the beginning, and your ideas were flowing like a relishing mango juice. It was in flow, it was transitioning well. Only one thing that I saw was one facial gesture that you were doing constantly, which was like every time like this. It feels like you're little disgruntled about something. So maybe if you can work on that. Rabia, well done for using the word of the day. Your voice was very warm. You were smiling throughout your speech. I would just like to suggest you that since you were given the topic of recipes, you could have used some vocabularies related to recipes like mouth-watering, or something like that. You can keep some vocabulary in your repertoire, which you can use for different topics. So that is going to be handy for you. Wiki, I would just like to comment that you were the only one which showed a little bit of hand gesture. You used the word of the day. You had a very warm smile, and I always feel that your style is very congenial for the greater public. The only thing that I feel is a little voice modulation will be good for you. The last one was Sumitra. Sumitra, your ideas were connected. It was flowing like a maple syrup. It was wonderful. You started off confident without any hesitation. But I would just like to suggest that a good speech needs to have light and shade both. So give some vocal variety to your speech, and some feelings to your speech. It doesn't feel good when the speech goes like a newscasting. It feels a bit pathetic. So just work on that, and I think you all did a wonderful job. Thank you so much. Back to you, General Evaluator.
Thank you, Sana, for evaluating our table topic speakers. I'm sure everyone got some tips from that. All the evaluators today introduced the speech projects well, and they uplifted the speakers and gave constructive criticism, not only for the speakers to grow, but for the audience to relish. Now it's time for the next part of the evaluation segment. Let's see what our role players have to say. I will invite grammarian Toastmaster Gayatri Deshmukh to let us know how we relished the meeting today. Toastmaster Gayatri Deshmukh, over to you.
Gautami.
Hello.
Sorry,
It's
Gautami
okay.
Deshmukh, over to you.
After years of being in the same school, I'm used to being addressed as Gayatri. So I have no complaints regarding that. As a grammarian for you all today, I must say this entire meeting related to mangoes and maple syrup was as relishing as it could get. The word of the day, relish, was used more than 15 times in this entire meeting. It is amazing. And I have to tell what went wrong at certain grammatical points. The first one, which I want to mention, is he yet taught me so far. The correct usage of this phrase could be, he taught me so far. Through my past should change to from my past. I meet her is incorrect English. It would be I met her when you're using past tense. Amazing and cool words used in the entire meeting were agile, embrace sunshine, declamation, jarring silence, mangroves, beautiful scars, anecdotes from childhood, repertoire. And the phrases that caught my attention were own your words, own the stage. To err is human. To not to not correct that err is inhuman. Life throws you curveballs. The dawn of my dark night. Relish your families. Food is an art and science. Hint of embedded humor, flowing like a maple syrup. A special mention to Ali Ashar. I am proud of you for being a suicide survivor, and I'm glad that you had the support you needed. Over to you, General Evaluator, ma'am.
Thank you, Grammarian Toastmaster Gautami Deshmukh. Help me welcome our counter Toastmaster Imran Rana to tell us how we were to taste mangoes and maple syrup. Toastmaster Imran Rana, over to you.
You're on mute.
Toastmaster Kiran, you just used 2 so count it. Okay, fellow Toastmasters and guests. Our counter report is, let me present you my our counter report. First of all, Toastmaster Mariam Arif as a speaker, she used non-connective and 4 times, non-connective so 3 times. Then we have Toastmaster Yaska Deva. He used non-connective and 2 times, non-connective so 2 times. Then we had Toastmaster Asghar Ramzan as introducing the speaker. He used non-connective and 1 time. Then we have Toastmaster Ali Ashar Anjum as a speaker. He used 1 filler word non-connective and 6 times, because 1 time, non-connective but 1 time, non-connective so 2 times. Then we have Toastmaster Andy as a speaker. He used non-connective and twice, used the word please twice, repetitive word. Then we had Toastmaster Urusa Kamal as table topic master. She uses 7 times as non-connective so 3 times. Then we had Toastmaster Linda. I'm amazed that she didn't use any filler words. Then we had Toastmaster Rabia. She used filler words 8 times, non-connective and 7 times, non-connective so twice. Then we had Toastmaster Vicky Wilson. He used 1 time, only 1 filler word. Then we had Toastmaster Sumitra as a table topic speaker. He used filler words as 3 times, non-connective and 1 time, non-connective so twice. Then we had Asghar Ramzan as an evaluator. He uses filler word 5 times, non-connective overused words but 1 time. Then we had evaluator Roxanne Hussain. She inspired us all. She didn't use any filler words. Then we had DTM Samir Hamid Dodi. He uses filler words twice, non-connective and 6 times, so twice, twice, repetitive word perhaps 4 times. Then we had table topic evaluator Toastmaster Sana. She uses 6 times filler words as, 6 times non-connective and 2 times non-connective so. Over to you, Toastmaster, General Evaluator, Toastmaster Kiran.
Thank you, Toastmaster Imran Rana, for that detailed report. Now I will call on our listener, Toastmaster Urusa Kanwal, to check how well we were enjoying the blends with all our senses. Toastmaster Urusa Kanwal, over to you.
Thank you so much, General Evaluator. So the rules of being good listeners of this segment are very simple. The person who has said the phrase is supposed to remain quiet, and everyone else is supposed to guess who said the phrase. So you can all open your mics for this session. All right, so the first phrase is a captivating story with great phrases.
Toastmaster Roxanne?
No.
Toastmaster Asghar?
Yes. All right, so the next phrase is the professor's face turned tomato red.
Yaska.
Yeah.
What a mess.
Oh, I know.
Linda.
Karen. Karen
Yes.
Reese.
Yes. Right. This is how you win over the audience.
Linda? Toastmaster Maria.
Toastmaster Maria. This stanza I wrote for the lady.
Oh.
Who I heard the name. It wasn't clear.
Ruxana Hussain.
No, that was Toastmaster Anjum.
Yes. And the last one, flowing like mango juice.
Journal evaluator.
Yes, Karen.
No.
Could you repeat it again?
Flowing like mango juice.
I think our table topics evaluator, Toastmaster Kira.
Yes,
Toastmaster
Sana. With that, over to you.
I knew it.
Thank you, Toastmaster Urusa, for listening and making sure we were listening as well. Of course, the best dishes that we relish are the ones cooked at optimum time. I now invite distinguished Toastmaster Hannah Schmidt to give us the timer report. DTM Schmidt, over to you.
Thank you very much, Madam General Evaluator. Going back to the evaluators in the timing, Robin, 2 minutes 54, Ashar, 3 minutes 2, Roxanne, exactly 3 minutes, and distinguished Toastmaster Samir, 3 minutes, 18 seconds. And Sana, as table topics evaluator, 2 minutes 22, Imran, 2:52, and Urusa, 1:45. That is all of my report. Over to you, Madam General Evaluator.
Okay, there. Thank you, timer, DTM Hannah Schmidt. Today, the role players not only brought mangoes and maple syrup together, I think they added their own condiments and spices to bring the unique tastes to life. Now, it's time for the last part of the evaluation segment, the GE report. Overall, I think there was a perfect blend of tastes in today's meeting. The tantalizing tastes of mangoes and the maple syrup tickled my taste buds to divinity. Before the meeting, Zoom was all set up, ready to go. All roles and agenda were well organized. The registration link was removed to invite maximum participation. The meeting started 4 minutes late. The presidential address from both clubs and the expectations very clear from Sergeant at Arms Toastmaster Hassan. During the meeting, Toastmaster Anam Kadri introduced the meeting theme by bringing in the genius thinker, Toastmaster Najam Rizvi, allowing us to experience the blend of genius tastes right from the beginning. The theme was brought to life by all the role players throughout the meeting for us to relish the vibrant tastes of communication and leadership. The tech host, Toastmaster Ali, Ashar, Anjum, and the team from My Speak handled the spotlighting and unspotlighting very well. Team mode introduced the role players appropriately. Role players were organized to conduct their roles according to the agenda. The timeline is where I think we all have a little bit of work to do. The time cards were shown at the right times and the audible was well coordinated and loud enough. Education mentor DTM Karen Rees inspired us to live, let live, and learn through a positive attitude. All the role players performed their roles well, and their reports were well delivered and succinct. Table Topics Master selected appropriate topics to fit the theme of the meeting. To bring out that divinity and relish this meeting fully and all future meetings, for both clubs, something for us to learn is sometimes we may have to be spoon-fed to allow us to taste the very best. That is, we need training and mentoring ahead of time to get ready for the meeting, especially with Zoom presence. It will be helpful if role players log in 20 minutes prior to the meeting, test their audio and video, and attendance taken ready to go. Taking into consideration the pauses, body language, and transitions, in addition to number of words in our speech, will definitely help us all to stay in time. We started talking about mangoes and maple syrup, but I am walking away with two things beyond those tastes: rich conversations and rich learning. Today, there is one player or a team of players who did exactly that in bringing everything to life and spotlighting us to the main role players. And that is the Sergeant at Arms, who were spotlighting and unspotlighting speakers and members perfectly through his or her role. And now I am not sure who was doing that. So allow me to congratulate and present the Spark Award to the Sergeant at Arms or the team of people who are spotlighting and unspotlighting. It has been a great lip-smacking experience evaluating the meeting today, and I relished every moment of my role. Thank you all. With that, back to the Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Kiran, for your detailed general evaluation. Before I sign off from here, I would like to say that I'm going with a lot of beautiful messages, a lot to learn, and yes, a lot I already learned. And above that all, what I learned basically was to enjoy life to my fullest. Some says mango and maple are unhealthy. Some says it might be good to taste, but I say just celebrate one day as a cheat day. Take it, enjoy it to your fullest so that you don't repent later. With that, I move on to the president of Karachi Toastmasters Club and the president of MI Speak to please announce the awards for the best speaker. And before that, I'm sorry, yes. Before that, I would be calling in for the poll for the Big Four. The Big Four include the Toastmaster of the day as me, the Table Topic Master, Toastmaster Urusa Kawal, Table Topic Evaluator, Toastmaster Sana Gaglani, and the General Evaluator, Toastmaster Kiran Patula. Thank you so much, Toastmaster MI Speak Club and Karachi Toastmasters Club for giving this opportunity. I relished and thoroughly enjoyed the entire content, the speakers, the evaluation, and overall the flow of the entire meeting. Hope to see you frequently in the coming days. And with that, I hand over the charge to the president of MI Speak, Toastmaster Toastmaster Khatila and DTM Talha bin Hamid. Over to you.
Thank you very much. Toastmaster of the day, Toastmaster Anjum, and your team for navigating with us today, where there was a fusion of cultures, where we enjoyed and heard and learned and engaged with each other, and we learned from each other in a true way and the best way Toastmasters do. I personally have learned a lot about the culture from Karachi Toastmasters. I believe with our speeches and how we presented today, everyone has learned about My Speak Toastmasters as a club that is intercultural, very diverse. Please allow me to share 2 awards. I will begin with the best effort speaker. Drum roll, please. Please unmute. I will need to hear the drum roll. This is where the fusion of the cultures meet. In my culture at My Speak, we do a drum roll. That's the one. And the best effort speaker goes to Toastmaster Mariam Arif. Well done, Toastmaster Mariam Arif, for delivering the best speech. And you took, I hope you took the evaluation that was given, and for all of us, that evaluation really is for all of us who are next delivery. And the next category is that of best table topics delivery. Drum roll, please. And the winner is Toastmaster Linda Marie Miller. Congratulations, Linda Marie Miller, for sharing with us how you tested that ripe mango with your thumb and damaged all of them as you were testing all of them in the tree. I would like to hand over to District Director, President, Toastmaster Ben Hamid.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Nikala. I have a couple of results too, and let me share them. The results are for best evaluator, and the best evaluator award goes to no one's surprised really, because almost all of you voted for her. I forgot the name. Let me try to recall the name.
Roxanne.
Toastmaster Roxanne Hussain. Yeah, okay, and I have another award, which is the Best Big Four award. And the contest was quite tough in this, because all of our Big Four players did so well, but in the end, our general evaluator, Toastmaster Kiran Pathula, pulled ahead. Congratulations. And now I need drum rolls, because there's one more award that we used to get at Karachi Toastmasters. Yeah. Think about the biggest drums that we did, and imagine that. What's the Critics' Choice Award? It is the award that actually evaluates every speech according to the Dallas International Speech Contest. That way, we entice our members to make every speech a contest-worthy speech, even if it is a very dry topic. And I trust that all members today saw what I really mean, because all 4 of our speakers took some really dry project descriptions and they made beautiful stories out of it. Today there were 4 speeches. Usually in our club, we announce top 3. So ironically, according to the secret critic, there are 3 positions, but 4 speakers. How's that? Because the 3rd position goes to Toastmaster Yaska Deva Payari. Congratulations. The 2nd position is shared by Toastmaster Ali Ashar Anjum and Toastmaster Andy Mayhew. Congratulations. And no prizes for guessing which speaker is remaining. So Toastmaster Mariam Arif, congratulations on winning the Critics' Choice Award. With a note of caution, you all won awards because the leadership of My Speak was generous enough to allow voting for everyone, and that's also what qualified you for being evaluated according to this ballot. So everyone, please make a note of timings. Congratulations, everyone. So with that, we bring this meeting to an end, and I would invite.
Yes, please go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah, so I believe we have covered all the awards. I will invite some of our attendees today for their thoughts about the meeting. And of course, how can I start with anyone other than Toastmaster Linda Mary Miller, who remains an inspiration ever since I saw her second place winning speech. For me, that was the best speech in the contest. And I haven't seen the usage of screen and the usage of techniques that she used in such a way, that way used before or since. And most prominently, the topic of her speech, the thought process behind her speech remains the most inspiring to me. You took a big risk in that contest by going so overboard with your heart on the sleeve. So Toastmaster Linda Mary Miller, your thoughts, please.
Well, I'm not a guest. I'm actually a member of My Speak. It's my home club. But this is the first time I've had the pleasure of being at a joint meeting. And I thought it was great. I was writing down some things that you do in your club that I've never seen before. The secret judge, I love that. So that's something I'm gonna take back with me in areas that, in clubs that I visit, and maybe do that. That was brilliant. And thank you for your kind words. I intend to go back next year and again, not win the contest. To me, if you win, that's really losing, because then you can't come back again. And I have lots of messages for the world. So I plan on making it to the finals, but never winning. That's my goal. So thank you very much.
Oh, that is a foolproof plan if I've ever heard one. So yeah, congratulations on that. And trust me, there are few things better than witnessing you on the World Contest stage. We are so grateful for your presence today. We know you're a member of My Speak, and but still, I would ask the keeper of the flame for the previous year, DTM Brown Memo, for your thoughts.
Thank you, distinguished Toastmaster Talha bin Hamid. It's been a great meeting. It's cross-cultural. We are trying to understand each other's culture. Actually, we've begun to understand that well, because one of your members is also a member in My Speak, as we all know, Muhammad Azhar Khan. And so I hope more and more of your members come and join My Speak, and vice versa, perhaps even. Thank you for this opportunity. It's been great learning. Let's keep learning from each other. Let's make it to the top again. We were close neck and neck last year, and I'm sure that we will be able to do that again this year. Looking at the marshes.org, I think we can easily do that. Right now, of course, we are not anywhere near the top, but that's okay. That's how we started last year as well. So between the two of us, we will do it. Thank you.
Thank you so much, DTM Brown Memo, for that rekindling of the motivation. Whether we make it to the top or not, one thing I can say for sure, the two of us, the two clubs that are present here, they were the ones that made it to the top fair and square. And our year-long journey is a witness to that. And we will again make it to the top fair and square, no matter what the others do. So thank you for that.
Thank you.
We have a person who has spoken very little during the meeting. We have, do we have some guests here? Or are all the names members. If there's a guest, please raise your hand and speak up and share your thoughts about the meeting. Okay, in absence of any guests, I would ask a very special member of Karachi Toastmasters Club, Toastmaster Rabia. Toastmaster Rabia, you have had an amazing journey ever since you joined Toastmasters a few months ago. So I would request you to share that journey, and that would be a great source of motivation for everyone who's a new member or who is thinking about joining Toastmasters.
Thank you so much, distinguished Toastmaster Talha, for giving me this opportunity. Yes, I am a fairly new member. I joined the Toastmaster Club in March this year by joining my home club, which is the TCF Toastmaster Club, which is also a new club this year. And then I joined Karachi Toastmasters Club also. It has been an amazing journey, and I relish every moment of being a part of this amazing club. I am a volunteer at the Citizens Foundation, which works for education of underprivileged children. And me being a part of Toastmaster has given me a very huge platform where I have been connected with so many clubs like the MI Speak Club, many of the Indian Toastmasters Club, also the Leaders Worldwide Club. And 2 weeks ago, I was called by Toastmaster Cynthia Stott to give a keynote speech because she wanted to know about the work I was doing. So just in few months, I have gone from being locally, giving my voice locally to my friends and my neighbors and my family to give to a larger and much greater audience. And that's a very good and nice feeling. And apart from that, I have also learned a lot and met so many inspiring people through this platform. The first combined meeting we had of MI Speak and Karachi Toastmaster Club was just a few weeks after I had joined, and I wasn't that confident at that time. I remember I was so out of words when the table topics speaker, the master, called me. But this time I was more at home, and it's an amazing way to learn from all those special speakers like TM Linda and TM Roxanne and all the others who are here. And every time you learn something in every meeting. And I love the evaluation part. It's so nice and generous, but gets the point across. You give your tips without making us feel bad. And that is what I love the most about Toastmasters. So thank you so much. And to the Toastmasters platform for giving people like us and to be in this global community and to grow our networks also. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Just checking here, I believe the business is done. So can I declare the meeting closed? Both VP Educations, correct me if I'm wrong.
Yes, we can adjourn the meeting.
Okay, so I'm officially adjourning the meeting.